I'd like to find out.
Hello, my name is Malcolm Mundy and you are watching UFOs and Billy the Kid. I am in my favorite restaurant in El Capitan, El Paisano. They have the best huevos rancheros I've ever eaten, trust me. Anyway, this is the Legend of Billy the Kid chapter. This is the concluding story. My trip is over and I'm now reviewing my notes and so forth as far as what I've learned. And this is what I learned about the legend of Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid never wanted to go into outlawry. He was forced into it at an early age. His mother died of tuberculosis. His stepfather wouldn't take him in. He was on his own. And if you're a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid in the wild, wild west, you had to resort in some ways to a life of crime. Billy the Kid's survival methods forced him into a life of crime, and he really wanted to be a good citizen and he wanted a good start. He was raised really well by his mother. Billy the Kid's primary crime, which he would be known for, is cattle and livestock rustling. And once he was caught by John Tunstall rustling his cattle, he was offered a job and he absolutely jumped on it to go straight. He wanted to go straight. He wanted to be a part of this community where I'm at here in Lincoln County. The story goes that him and Fred Waite were going to save up their money, save up their wages, and start their own ranch, actually not too far from Capitan. And unfortunately, the Lincoln County War broke out, and as I mentioned before, that was due to an obsession over a $10,000 insurance policy that the wife of Jimmy Dolan was going to collect. And it just basically started the division of the sides for this war. And President Rutherford B. Hayes would call the Lincoln County section, this whole avenue where I'm at, down into the historic district, he would call this the most violent section of the United States from 1878 to 1879. And Billy the Kid was a part of this. And just basically, he survived every skirmish, he survived every no you don't, he survived every go for it situation, and just kept getting better and better and better at it. He was an incredible survivor. The only two people I can think of that really got good shots at him in terms of gunshot was Deputy Murphy, not Deputy Murphy, I can't remember his name. He was, when they shot Sheriff Brady, this was one of the deputies of Sheriff Brady, managed to get Billy in the thigh. And of course the other one was Pat Garrett, who hit him point blank in the left chest. But Billy the Kid essentially rose to the occasion as also being a hero among the Mexican people who lived in this area, because a lot of the Mexican people had their property taken away by legal maneuvers of the banks, most of them run by the Murphy Dolan side. Billy the Kid was with the Tunstall McSween side. And so the Mexican people who saw Billy the Kid rustling cattle from these people, they viewed him as a hero. The real problem started was after the Lincoln County War. Billy the Kid did not get his pardon as promised to him by Governor Lew Wallace. He was pretty much, in my opinion, set up by the government, because the government did not like Billy the Kid because he was a hero among the Mexican people in the area. He was a big favorite of local senoritas, and he was viewed as a big thorn in the side, especially to people like John Chisholm, who reportedly owed him money. He owed money to him and some fellow regulators who were deputized, incidentally, to go after the murderers of John Tunstall. And he did not give him any wages as promised by John Chisholm, in the sense that he told him, well, I gave you money for supplies and that's it. Well, Billy the Kid and I think it was some regulators basically stole cattle from him and basically angered him. And he's continued to rustle cattle from other areas with his quote, "I'm not leaving Lincoln County, I'm going to steal myself a living," was his quote. And eventually, John Chisholm, he was one of the most angry people over Billy the Kid, and he helped put Pat Garrett into sheriff, the position of sheriff, with the quote that Pat Garrett can get the job done. And if you look at the history of Pat Garrett was known as a bushwhacker, meaning he would ambush his prey or he would ambush people. He never would fight people straight on. He would look for areas where they would frequent, i.e. buffalo or whatever, or people for that matter, and he would wait for them at their most vulnerable moment, and that's when he would take their shot. And it is for this reason that a lot of people do not buy Pat Garrett's story that he was in Pete Maxwell's bedroom and Billy the Kid all of a sudden showed up and he nailed him. A lot of people believe that he was more than likely in Paulita Maxwell's bedroom with her bound and gagged, probably threatened, because when asked about Billy the Kid, she would never ever talk about that incident up to the day she died. And but anyway, also note that Pat Garrett only lasted 1 year as sheriff after he killed Billy the Kid, and it makes you wonder if he was indeed going to be relished as a big hero for the death of Billy the Kid, why wasn't he reelected? And also, he was in Pete Maxwell's bedroom, at least he stated he was. Pete Maxwell fired Pat Garrett because he caught him rustling cattle. And traditionally the way you would rustle cattle is you would look for those cows that have not been branded yet, and those are the ones you would grab and butcher and sell or whatever. That was, I think someone told me that was also Billy the Kid's method. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But Billy the Kid never wanted to be the outlaw that he became or become the legend he became. He wanted just to be a part of this community, and he just wanted to raise cattle with his very good friend, Fred Waite. Fred Waite would leave this area along with some other regulators after the Lincoln County War was over in 1879, and he would go to Texas and live out a nice quiet life along with some other regulators. But Billy the Kid, he wanted to stay here. He viewed this as his turf, and in some ways, as I said, the kid wasn't always so smart, and that probably may have been what got him killed. But the legend of Billy the Kid was one of an incredible fighter, an incredible survivalist, and just an incredible person, not just with the Mexican community and with the senoritas, but with everyone who knew him. They knew him as a real likable guy who had a great sense of humor, loved to sing and dance, and yes, he was an incredible shot with those Colt 41 Lightnings and his Remington 1873 rifle. And I think that's about all I can tell you. This is you're watching UFOs and Billy the Kid, and that was the legend of Billy the Kid. Thank you for watching. I'm Malcolm Mundy.